Um, Please bear with me. I would like to share a story with you. About a few months ago, I was attending a civic function in our city, not too far away from this place actually. When I was introduced to a person I never met before in life, and we started talking. And as he got to know me, he said, "I need to tell you a story, and I want to share that story with you." And this person had just come to Plymouth about 2 weeks prior to our meeting. And he had been invited to the same civic function as I was. And he was both excited and mildly trepidated because he never knew anybody in Plymouth. So here he walked into this magnificent space, not too far from here. And it was filled, there was loads of energy, people were talking to each other. And yet as time went by, he realized that people were looking in his direction, but looking through him. And this person was beginning to feel alone. So it was not too long before he found himself seated in a corner, pretending to be occupied and rather hurt. And then out of the blue, he felt someone in his space, and there was this beautiful person who just introduced themselves and started talking to him. And it completely changed his mood. And it was a wonderful experience. And he thought, wow, Plymouth must be having something. And then that person moved on. And then somebody else did the same thing. And a little later, a third person did it. And what shocked him was the three people who reached out to him were completely different. And it gave him the courage to start talking to others. And soon he found himself in a queue, waiting for tea. And these three were talking to each other. And he felt, well, it's not a coincidence, because these are such lovely people. It's no wonder that they gravitate towards each other. But he just walked up and said, "Thank you so much." He introduced himself and said what he, related the first experience he had and the change that those three made to his life, and just asked, "Do you know each other?" Because they were so different to one another. And they laughed and said, "Of course we do, because we are from the University of Plymouth." And it is to that hallowed space that I have the privilege of welcoming you, because we are a university with a heart. I really believe this, because I am as different can be. And I've never felt a place that is more welcoming or safe to work in, to call home, as much as this university you are in. And I'm so privileged to see so many of my colleagues. And that description, I don't want to embarrass them by asking them to stand up, but my colleagues who are here are so different to one another. They represent every color, every identity, every age group that you can think of. But we are united in a vision that we believe passionately in celebrating individuality. We want to create opportunities for everyone, not just to survive, but to thrive. And in doing so, we are not doing it through altruism. We know that when you thrive, we can become even better persons ourselves. So this whole event today is all about that. There is no structure. The idea is we have these beautiful round tables, we have these amazing stalls. Introduce yourself. And when we introduce ourselves, my plea is be yourself. Some of us are here alone, some of us are here with family, some represent groups. But deep inside each one is ourselves, and make those one-to-one connections, because it is through those one-to-one connections that we can then grow things. Because when we try to bring organizations together, they collide. But when individuals reach out to each other, it is a more natural process of making those links. And there is no greater example of what those links then do than three people who I have to thank today. One is Dr. Jan Knight, and the second man he's here, Jonathan Sperling. Two amazing individuals, again completely different in how they approach life. At completely dedicated to living their entire life for the benefit of others. And it is a privilege. Thank you for bringing this amazing event to Plymouth, the University of Plymouth. And I hope all of you will always consider the university as a trusted partner when you reach out to these things. And we will be honored to have you in this hallowed space. I know many of you, but then there are those I do not know, and I really hope I will get to know. And the third person that I want to thank is this man who's holding a camera here, the phone. He has just come to Plymouth barely 10 months ago as an international student in one of our most prestigious courses. He's already recorded wonderful grades that makes us believe he was completely worthy of the scholarship he was awarded to come here. But he has done so much more than just study. He has completely immersed himself in our community, and that is what I would love you to do. Because when that happens, there is magic. And I'm going to end this by relating another story which involves some people who are already in this room. Just last Sunday, we were at the Respect Kite Festival. And again, there were loads of us there. And then again, we found our colleagues of the university. And it was invariable that we began to chat. And there was one organization, the team lead was introducing us to this organization. And then they said, this is someone new. This person has just come to this country from the beautiful country of Japan, and he's going to join our team. And then one of our team said, how come I've already met him? And this person said, how can you meet? He's just come to Plymouth. But he said he was at the international dinner. We hold a thing called an international dinner, where more than 50 nationalities join, completely free of charge, the last Saturday of every month. And people just come there, and we just talk, we eat, we share food, just to enjoy ourselves. And that meeting had happened before the team leader met their own team. That is the power of what we are creating. And we want to continue to pledge ourselves to do that. Because if we don't actively commit ourselves to that concept and wait for opportunities to come along, those opportunities may never come. Tomorrow may never come. Let's live the most we can today. And that is why we have created these tables. And it just says, so thankful to meet you, got a minute to chat. Let's start chatting today. Let's start making those links. And let's make the change happen. Your Honor, it is a huge privilege to welcome you. And in a traditional sense, I should have started by welcoming you before saying all this. But I think the fact that you found time and space to heed to our request and be here represents how wonderfully united Plymouth is. Plymouth works together at all levels, and it is a privilege for me to welcome you and this amazing group to our hallowed space. Thank you very much.